All righty.
Okay, how's everybody?
We are solid. So, Bobby, I
Wonderful.
understand today we are talking about working expired listings.
Yes,
Super fun, exciting topic, a gold mine of business if you know what you're doing with it.
right. And I think that's one of the things that we want to talk about, that they're not just, it's not going to be handled just exactly the way a normal listing would be handled. So we've got to do things just a touch different. And I'm going to show you that today. The only reason I didn't talk about this some time ago is because the last few years have been so hot. I don't know that there was an expired listing.
Yeah, very, very few, right?
Yeah, so
And if there was
really didn't know
expired, there was
anything
a
about it.
reason.
And now I think here's what's happening in the market, and those of you that are active in it know that this is what's going on. The seller has not caught on that the market isn't quite as robust as it has been for several years, and that this isn't where the seller's calling the shots. And so some of our people that are putting the extraordinary high prices on a house and then expecting that it will sell over the weekend are finding out that they're kind of disappointed. And I also think that some of us as agents, because we've lived with a pretty cushy market for quite a while, are taking listings that are only, I don't know, 30, 60 days, because the assumption is, well, of course it will sell on the first weekend. So why do I need to take a long listing? My 2 cents on that is, since the day I got into real estate, I put a 6-month listing on. Even in the hot market, when I knew it would sell over the weekend, I still have 6 months. And I've never, surprisingly, no one's ever balked at it. I usually make a joke out of it, and I put when I go through it and I say, and so this listing is for 6 months, but I'll tell you what, if it takes me 6 months to sell your house, you need to fire me before then, right, in the hot market.
Yep.
But I have been through markets where 6 months was reasonable. And in fact, 6 months might not do it. You may need to re-up the listing.
Yep.
I think if we get back to that, that's going to be a really rude awakening for a lot of agents, that's a real possibility that it can go that way. And if interest rates keep going up, it will go that way until we think of more clever ways to get people into houses. So I guess my thing would be, how long is that listing? So is that the reason that it's expiring? These are great opportunities to get a listing, because these are people who did want to sell and they probably still want to. The trouble is, well, I'll get into the trouble in a minute, because that's where the listing kind of diverts from a normal listing. At a normal listing, everybody's excited, aren't they? I mean, unless they're getting a divorce and they're not very happy about it. But if they're looking to move up, they're excited. If they're thinking that they're moving to a new state and a new life or a new job, they're usually excited, and this is kind of an exciting time for them. But on an expired listing, it's not very exciting. So let's get started with working with the expireds. I think the first thing I'd like to point out, and this is very important, is that when I talk about expired listings, they're not dead. These are not dead people. This is just the listing is expired, but the people are not dead. So working with the expired listings, the first thing is that they have had a bad experience with an agent. Isn't that true? They have been told that they could get more money for their house than their house was worth, and they could get it done in market time, and that didn't happen. As far as they're concerned, somebody lied to them. So when we approach these people, what we have to understand is that they're going to need a lot of patience and understanding. You're going to need to be a great listener. right now, you are not selling you are not selling the company, you are not selling services, you are a counselor. You're going to listen, 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 because they're upset. And with their upset, they're going to tell you a lot of things. Might be something like this. So how did it go when you had it on the market? Well, that agent didn't show it one single solitary time, not one showing. She never brought anybody over here. Is that important for me to know that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because what does that tell me?
But their agent
The
probably
audience participation part.
audience listed or audience realtor listed it and walked away. It's going to sell itself.
No, the agent didn't explain how the thing works. Doesn't understand the difference between the seller's agent and the buyer's agent. What are the odds I'm going to be bringing people through that house? Probably somewhat limited. So it wasn't explained. My guess would be they did a typical listing presentation. They went over, razzle dazzled them, took the listing, and did very little explanation about who does what and when. So that was left out. Now I know that needs to be cleared up so that they understand that my job is to get people in here. My job is to bring people into this house. If I get enough people in this house, somebody's going to fall in love with it. Where are those people? Well, I could spend all my time going out looking for people, which I do go out and look for people. But I also know that where the people are, there's an agent today working with somebody that if I could get them in this house, they'd fall in love with it and buy it. And that's my job. Go find those people. So number 2 on this is that they need to be heard and understood. And that's where I'm talking about listening to what they're telling me. Well, so how did it go? Well, she only did 6 open houses the whole time. Just 6, that's all there was to it. We were on the market for 12 weeks and she only did 6 open houses. Now what am I learning? Okay, click in, Haley. I know you have an answer.
Natalie said that they're hard to please.
They're uneducated, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're uneducated. And this is where I need to make a decision whether I do open houses or I don't do open houses. Also, let me back up. This is not the time that I'm going to discuss it with these people. What I'm getting is information.
Yeah.
So I'm moving forward in what I'm saying to you right now, because later you're going to deal with it, but you're not going to deal with it right now. Right now, I'm in the listening phase. And what I learned in the listening phase is that they're disappointed in the other agent because she never brought anybody over to show the house. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with. Am I going to deal with it now? No, now is not time for me to deal with it. Now is they are correct in everything they say I agree with. Number 2, she only did 6 open houses. Well, this is ridiculous. I wouldn't have done 6 open houses in 12 weeks. Never. So the fact that she only did 6, it's telling me that they believe an open house is going to sell this house. What had I better say in order to get this listing? I either better tell them that I do open houses, but here's the way I do it, or that I don't do open houses. And the reason I don't do open houses is the only person that it benefits is me. And it doesn't benefit you at all. But I'll be happy
tell
to
them
do
that
them.
all day.
What's that?
All day, Bobby. I tell them that all day long.
Right. And you're telling them the truth. And so if I don't want to do an open house, that's how I get out of it. But there are times when, especially if I were a newer agent or I really needed business, an open house is great bait to find some buyers. And if you do it right, you can find some sellers as well. So if I was new and I needed business, I would probably do the open house and then I would promote it to the seller about, look how hard I'm trying to get your house sold. So I'll switch either way, depending on which mood I'm in at the time. And of course, now that I'm old, I'm fat and cranky, I don't do open houses. It's like work. I kind of draw the line at that.
Yeah.
Oh, and all those little signs, that's a lot of work. Anyway, so when I'm talking to them about what went wrong, what they tell me tells me that this is what they think happened. And it's always going to be the agent's fault, isn't it?
Yeah, always.
Okay. And what am I going to do about that?
Right now, I'm just listening.
I'm going to agree with them. Yep, that's, oh, 6. She only did 6. Whew. Imagine that. She didn't bring anybody? No, she didn't bring anybody. Wow. Okay. We already know, number 3, the problem was the price. Don't we know that? If they had priced it right, the house would have sold. Correct? So all of you, I see some names in here that have been in Power Series. It's the price, it's the price, it's the what?
It's the price.
Price, it's always the price. We can sell ratty, ugly, nasty little homes for the right price. It's always the price. There's a price at which it will sell immediately. There's a price at which I'm not leaving the table, I'll buy it if you give me that price. And then there's a price that it probably won't sell for several years. So it's always the price. But what's the one thing I'm not going to tell them right now?
That it's the price.
The price.
It's the price. Yeah, because if I say price, then I'm in the same boat as the other agent. Don't you suppose the other agent told them price? Probably told them more than once. Price, 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 price. And unless they're a new agent, here's what new agents do. The new agents say, well, I don't know why it's not selling up. I'll do another open house. Yeah, that's it. Open house. That's what I'll do. I'll put an ad in the newspaper. I'll do some homes and land. I'll get an ad. I'll put an ad in an open house and then I'll talk to the neighbors. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. Maybe if we painted the bathroom, it would sell. And we're all looking for everything outside of our control. It's only the price. But look how often we do that. We go into houses all the time and say, well, if you put the granite countertops in, if you paint the bathroom, if you repaint the kitchen and take this color out, if you repaint that bedroom, if you pick up the child's toys, if you do something about the yard, right? We're always giving them this advice when the truth is I can sell anything for the right price. Now, I might let you know that I think we could get more if we did a few of these things, but I don't have to have it. I don't have to have anything. All I have to have is the right price. So somebody did not make that clear that it's the price. But right now, the only thing I am not going to blame is the price. It will be the other agent. The other thing about the expired listing is most of them still want to sell. They had some kind of a dream, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Want to go someplace. I mean, think about the amount of effort that goes into moving. You put every single thing you own, you pick it up, you wrap it up, and you get it in a box. Look around your house right now, just the room you're in, and go, every single thing you own. Pick it up, put it in a box, and we're going to haul it someplace. You have to really be motivated because that is not an easy job. That's not a fun job. That takes several weeks worth of work to do that. So it's not something that, I mean, it's not like you just look at the TV guide and decide, well, there's nothing on TV Wednesday, so why don't we just move? Not that much fun. So most of them had a dream and they still want to sell. The next one is you need to see that they are not happy. And this is what I said earlier. Somebody told them they could get more money for their house than their house is worth, and they could get it done in fair market time. And it didn't happen. So do you think they feel lied to?
Absolutely.
Somebody went over, they agreed to pay somebody to sell this house. It didn't get sold. Think about the effort that it took to have your house on the market. It's one of the other reasons we don't sell, isn't it? Every single day, my home has to look like a show home. Every single day, all the beds are made, all the bathrooms are clean, all the dishes are out of the sink, put away. Every single thing is perfect, like I live in a show home. How much effort is that? Day after day after day. Even people who keep a clean house say, you know, occasionally there's a dish in the sink. The dishwasher's full. I didn't have time to empty it, and I got some dishes out here, and these people are coming. What do I do with this? Or the kids came home and the homework's all over the place, or somebody left some things out. Somebody got fingerprints all over the glass table. The amount of work that it takes to keep your house perfect condition. And if these people had a normal listing of 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it was, day after day after day of a perfect house, and it did not sell. It's also emotionally upsetting because you've got your house that you think your house is pretty cool. Why wouldn't you? You picked it, you decorated it, these are your things. And all these people have come through and gone, no, I don't think I'd care to live here. Doesn't that hurt your feelings? Like, but all my friends told me it was a great house. And apparently it's not. These people did, all these people didn't want it. So that insults me, but that's not the worst part. Can I tell you the worst part? The worst part is everywhere I go, somebody says, well, you sold the house yet?
Hmm.
And I have to yet again say, no. The unspoken words are nobody wants it. No, I didn't. Nobody wants it. So do you feel me getting depressed? Getting like, oh my God, I thought I had a beautiful home and I don't. No one likes it. No one wants to live here. I have to keep telling my friends that no one likes it. This is really emotionally difficult. So that's where our brains have to go, is it's not a normal listing. They're not excited. They're not happy. They're not thrilled about this moving on to the next phase of life. This has been a very disappointing struggle, an effort, a struggle. And here I am standing in your house or talking to you on the phone, trying to get you to do it again. Do you think I better be very careful how I talk to those people? Because they're not having fun. Where did I do this? There you are. So what I've got to do is I've got to come back to them. Okay, so here's where I am in this. I've talked, I've listened and agreed and I never said anything negative about the other agent. I didn't say, oh my God, you hired a buffoon. Oh my God, that person's awful. Oh my God, I've never even heard of that company. Oh my God, that is just, So I'm not going to do anything that negative about the other agent. But what I am going to do is go, oh my gosh, really? And didn't call? Didn't return your calls? Oh, that would be frustrating. Well, did you get feedback on the showings? You didn't. Wow. Well, I can sort of see why you're upset. So I'm going to listen to each one and agree that whatever it was they're complaining about is legitimate, because to them it is legitimate. Isn't that right? So go with that. It is legitimate. So when I'm talking to them on the phone and I have asked these questions and I've gotten so why do you think it didn't sell? And they give me all these answers. The kinds of things that I'm going to say is I'm going to ask them, my first question on the phone is going to be, is your home still on the market? Now, the reason I want to know that is it's quite possible that last night they extended the listing, right? And I now have a listed house and I have no business going behind the sign. So I don't want to go behind the sign. And if I ask this question and they say yes, then I thank them, wish them good luck, and get off the phone. If the answer is no, I'm going to continue. So let me ask you this, is it still for sale? No, we've decided to pull it off the market. We're just not going to bother with it. It's just too much work and we're not going to do that. But you know, it sounds like a beautiful home from the MLS. I loved the write-up on it. It's great description. Why do you think it didn't sell? Then they're going to blame the agent, right? This is blame the agent. Well, she didn't do this and she didn't do that, and she, whatever it is, whatever goofy things it is. And I'm going to listen and agree. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, that would annoy me too. Yes, oh yeah, I see. And she did this. So I'm going to go along with them and agree with everything they say. Then when we're done talking about that, I want to know, so where would you have gone if it sold? Well, we would have moved to Florida. There's a community there for retired people, and we were going to live on the golf course and play golf every day and relax. Wow, sounds fabulous. So let me ask you this, if you could still do that, would you want to go ahead and do it? So what I'm looking at is, can I get them to reimagine what the thing was they were going to do? So where would you go if it did sell? Where were you going to go? Well, we had a new house picked out in Parker that was big, and it's got the 4 bedrooms, and you know, we've got the kids, and this is, so I want to renew that enthusiasm. That sounds fabulous. I'd love to do that myself. If you could get it sold, would you still want to get that new house? I need a yes, don't I? You see, I have not yet tried to sell anything. I have not tried to ask for an appointment. I haven't done any of those things. I've done nothing salesman-y. I'm just listening to their complaints, agreeing with how difficult this would have been. I'm empathizing with the situation they're in, and I recognize that they feel really, really disappointed by a real estate agent. And now here's another one on your phone or standing in front of you on your porch, and you know what they want. They want you to go through it again. So I have to have all the empathy that I can possibly come up with about, would I resist that if I were in your shoes? And the answer is yeah, I would. So just understand that that's where they're at. So the next one says, if you could still get your new home, would you want to go? That's why I've got them to talking about it, because now I need to know, I need to renew that enthusiasm. If you could still get there. I mean, that sounds great. I would love to have that 4 bedroom and you said it's got an acre, and you've got room for this and that and things, whatever it is that they've talked about. If you could get that, would you still want it? Well, yeah, I could, but we're just too tired of this. we're not going to do anything. No, I don't blame you. So then,
But what I kind of hear you saying is like you're kind of building up on a pain versus pleasure scenario here soon, where right now the pain of selling your house is outweighing the pleasure of you getting where you want to go. And so right now you're going to chill back. And I'm
I
trying
gotta
to
switch
make
that
you
around,
want
don't
to.
I?
Yeah, we got to switch that around, right? We want the
Yeah.
pleasure to be so much better that we want to get to Florida to the golf course community. We're willing to figure this out again with the
Right.
right person. Yep.
Go back to the excitement that they once felt before they got disappointed, and get them to believe again, believe in Santa Claus. That was
And right now,
me.
and this whole time, we've just made it all about them. Make them feel
Right.
validated,
Oh, yeah.
heard, and treasured. And oh my gosh, you poor souls.
And I'm not doing one thing that looks like selling me or asking you to sell the house.
Yep.
I haven't done any of that, because right now, do you think they're in a good humor that that's what they want to hear? Hey, let's just jump back in this boat and take another trip. No, and most of the agents, here's what most agents are going to do. Go over and tell them how much better I am than the last guy was, and so jump back in.
Right.
But until I get them re-enthused in this and really appreciate how difficult this has been for them, I don't stand a chance. I am not going to get this listing. So if I'm at their front porch, if I'm over the phone, what I'm asking for is an appointment. So I'm not selling right now. I say, well, I'll tell you what, let's get together. So I'm assuming right at the moment I'm on the phone. Well, let's get together. Let me take a look at it and just see if I can figure out why it didn't sell. Fair enough? I already know why it didn't sell, right? But I need that appointment. So I'm going to volunteer, here, let's do this. I don't mind. Why don't I just stop by? I think I've got an appointment in that area Wednesday. Why don't I just swing by your house, take a quick look, and see if I can tell you why I think it didn't sell. Fair enough? And then get myself an appointment. When I get there on Wednesday, what is it I'm going to do? Go ahead, you can look ahead and cheat. Ring the bell. See, I told you I teach everything. I don't let anything escape. I teach everything. Ring the bell. What do you do if the bell doesn't work?
Knock on the door.
Knock. See, I knew that was the gifted one. That's why they let David run a company. Yeah, knock on the door. So then pay them a compliment. Find out, look at something. I like the house. I like the look of things. Gosh, I can't imagine why this didn't sell. It's a beautiful home. This really should be gone. Or let's say it's a POS. What would you say then? You would then compliment the people. You are the nicest people I've talked to all week. Well, they are. They let you come over, right? So find something that you can compliment. And then you go to the kitchen table to break the ice. This is a critical listing point right here. If you don't break the ice, you have probably lost this listing. You've got to sit down. What are we going to talk about? Just about anything other than real estate. I want to know what they do for fun, or what kind of work do they do, or what do they do? Who are these people? I want to take a minute to get to know you, because that's important to me. And then I am not talking about me. So I'm not going to brag about what awards I've won or how many years I've been in the business or because this isn't about me. The truth is nobody cares about me. What they care is, can they get their house sold if they list with me? And so whatever award I won or whatever initials are after my name, it doesn't make any difference. Just drop it. Then you just sound braggy and you start to irritate people.
Yeah.
So it's not about me, it's all about them. Then we're going to get up and tour the house. And I think we've already talked about how to tour the house. And if we haven't, we'll do it someday. And then I'm going to bring them back and show them my marketing. Well, this is where you're going to step away from the other agent. You're going to say things like, so I created a list. Now, this is what the list that I pull off on the more expensive houses. When you're doing this, I want you to take it any way you want and take out the things that that you for sure wouldn't do because they're for upper end houses. One of those being that you're probably not going to order floor plans for a house for a condominium. Of course, you know what? If it's a condominium, it probably should have already sold. So it's probably a house that's more higher priced that didn't sell. So show them what you do for your listing. So I think one of the things, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, John, Mary, I think one of the things that's important for me to show you is that I do things different. Listings to me are very important. It's not important to me to get the listing. It's important to me to get the sale. I am aggressive in getting homes sold. And I know that's what you want to have happen. We're not going to do this again where it expires. This is not going to happen. We are going to aggressively market your home. Let me show you the kinds of things that I do. First of all, I take professional pictures. And I'll tell you what, guys, I do this on every one of my listings, even if it is the condominium, because I think these people have paid enough money that I owe it to them to spend $100 on photography, period. So I will always, and besides that, I don't have those pictures in front of me. I have taken out a copy of pictures from the MLS, just hideous, and you've all seen them. It's just hideous, ridiculously stupid. The one I don't have a picture of that I can't find anymore, it just cracks me up to no end. It's a picture close in of the edge of a homemade curtain, and it's just the curtain in the wall, just the edge of the curtain, not the whole curtain, just I just looked at that and went, what are you selling? This makes no sense. And so I show people, these are the pictures that end up in the MLS. Mine, and then I show them mine are always professionally done.
And at the end of the day, I'm here to sell your house. I am not a photographer. Do you want a realtor or do you want an amateur photographer?
Right. And I would point out that just taking pictures by my cell phone is not very professional.
No.
I do professional pictures, and especially if their house expired and they didn't have professional pictures. Is that not a good thing to show them? That I do it different. Here's what I want everybody, every listing to know. I do it different. I am different. And that's why I get my commission, because I have shown them that I am different than what the other agents are doing. That I will take professional pictures of your home. I will have your home, what's the second one? It says, I'll order floor plans. Well, the floor plans are another $100. So for a $700,000-800,000 house, I'll go ahead and do that. Why? Because I want this listing. And
I'll still challenge you. I'll do it on a $500,000 listing. We're still getting $12,000 to $15,000. What's $100?
Exactly.
Set
It's
yourself
not that
apart.
big a deal. Go get the listing. What does it take to get it? Show that you're better than the other agents, that you do something. You see, the biggest problem that we have is when we take a listing, we don't tell the seller we do anything. All they see is that we put a lockbox on the front door, we put a sign out in front, we put it in the MLS, and then they never see us again because we wait for the buyer's agent to come along and trip into this house and sell it for us. And then we go to the closing and pick up our big ass check. And you wonder why you didn't get a referral. Because they say, didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. Why did I pay $15,000 and she didn't do anything? So I'm going to show them that I'm not like the others. I do something. The other thing I could throw in here would be staging. So if I did upper end, or if I'm doing an upper end listing, I'll put in staging. I will order the floor plans. I will have your home social media marketing. You'll be on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is you use, but make sure that they know that, and then explain each one of these. Why is this important? Because everybody's on those sites. And when I sell a house, I intend to market it thoroughly to everybody, because I know that somebody out there would pay the highest dollar for this house. Somebody will pay. Somebody wants this house. I've got to get in front of all of them. I will do the showing of your home on social media. So I'll do a tour and I'll put it on social media. I have access to, this is for our company only, and I don't know, David, whether you've got this or not, but Jared has access to 5 MLSs. Now, do I really need 5 MLSs? No, it's actually kind of stupid, isn't it? Darla, did you have something to say?
I just said no. You don't
Yeah,
need
exactly.
MLSs.
I don't. I need the Metro Denver MLS. But what do the people think? Oh, that'd be great, because I'm sure there's somebody up in Summit County who's just waiting for a house in Denver. Okay, probably not, but in the event there was, I have access to the one in Summit County. I have access to the entire state. If there's anybody looking for a house like this, I'm going to find them. I send just listed cards, so people in the neighborhood. And the reason that's important is because there's a lot of people who are not actively looking for a house, but they have a friend or they have a relative that says, well, if anything pops up in your neighborhood, let me know. I really like this neighborhood. So they aren't on the social media sites. They aren't on MLS. They aren't looking. If I send this out and they know of somebody, I have at least contacted everybody. Remember, my job is to find anybody who would buy your house. I actually work. Here's the other thing, off to the side, say to yourself, this now allows you to go around the neighborhood and discuss this house when it's sold and see if you can't pick up another listing.
Right.
When you say, I want to show you the things that I did for the Johnsons that got their house sold. And if you're looking to sell yours, I would be happy to do the same things for you. Do you see how I've just increased my business? Just because I did this, that's it. And did it cost that much? No, another $100. So I will invite the neighbors to an open house with their own private hour before it's open to the public. Again, the only people who show up are usually the nosy neighbors, but oftentimes the nosy neighbors are people that are thinking about selling their house and they want to see what you do. And I'm going to put on not just your average open house, but I'm going to put on a good open house, which would be an entirely different class. And we're not in that class today. Does anybody want that class?
Yeah, we should.
They don't want that class, David. They don't want that class.
I'll tell you though, this idea though of having a private hour is something I've used in my business a lot too, because what always would happen to me is you do get those nosy neighbors. They're the ones that do want to talk because they want to know everything that Cheryl did to her house. And this is what we did to our house. And they really are just kicking bricks. And all they've done now is waste my time from actually talking to those that want to do something. And so I have gone and knocked on the surrounding 50, 60 homes of an open house, invited all the neighbors to their private hour to say, this is the time. If you just want to see your neighbor's house, you wanted to get out of the way, everything you want to do, come during this hour. It's not advertised to anybody else but these neighbors. And hopefully I'm getting all those nosy neighbors looky-loos out of the way first. So when my actual open house is happening from 1 to 3 now, I hopefully am not getting bogged down by senseless nonsense.
So can I share some words with you?
Sure.
What I would approach that is with a more positive bent when I talk to the neighbors. So I don't remember what you said, something about get this out of the way or,
Oh, I use that
Yeah.
casually. That's just us talking. Yeah, I would never say that.
okay. Okay, so what I was gonna say is sell it to the neighbors because this is, when I list a home, I always have a private showing because I never know what neighbor might have a friend or relative that wants to live in this neighborhood. So I'd like you to see this house and I do it for everybody. By the way, are you thinking about selling yours? Oh, well, come to the open house anyway, right? And now I know I don't have a seller. And I've also put in their brain that I work really hard to sell my houses,
Mhm.
but you can count on me to work. But it doesn't sound like, get it out of the way, see the house, or just come and tour the house. Because if you said that to me, I'd be thinking, and I suppose if I lived with him, he'll be dragging all these people through my house that have no interest in my house either. So it could be a negative.
And of course, yeah. And I don't advertise it that way. I know in my head why I'm doing it, right? And it's
Okay.
more or less to avoid that. To them, no, it is exactly that. Hey, this is a
Right.
private time for just the neighbors to come by. You get to tour the home. Maybe you know of somebody. This is your chance to come tour it to find your own neighbor for yourself.
Exactly. So I've invited the neighbors and this way I can give them my undivided attention and I will do an immediate open house as soon as we get the house listed and we're ready to fly. I will immediately do an open house to gather as much excitement as I can. I will personally invite top producing real estate agents to the area to the open house. So I send out whatever your number is, 50 to the top agents in this area, letting them know that this house is available and that it will be open at this time. And I contact buyers agents that are working in this area that might be interested in this house. So do you think anybody else has told them these things? You think anybody else does these things? Is this thing on?
I think they're more likely to say these things and less likely to have done them.
Right. So if you got all of that, can you see where the likelihood is that I can get your house sold? Oh, I forgot I had more stuff. Never mind. We'll keep rolling that up, David, so I can see it. So I'll send out notices in the area for people that are likely to buy a home. Okay, so if the house I'm selling is 8, then where's the nearest number 6s, 5s, and 6s? Because the 5s and 6s are likely to move up to the 8s, aren't they?
Mm.
And they wish they could move up. So if I did a mailer to them to let them know that this house is going to be on the market, might I find a buyer myself? So why not mail it to them and let them know? And the seller is also impressed that I'm actually going out of my way. I market homes. I don't just stick them in the MLS. I will contact my sphere of influence and past customers to see if anyone's interested. How do I do that? It's just an email. You got Chime, send it out. I will share full co-op commission to the buyer's agent. Now, why is that important? That's important because here's what I'm doing. I'm setting up how I'm going to avoid a commission discussion, a lowered commission. So when I say that I co-op fully with the other agent, and the reason I do that is because if I have to take less and I give them less, if I share less with the other agent, then what's going to happen is that they look in the MLS and they see what the co-op is, and they decide not to sell the house at all. And for very little money, we have just eliminated our buyer that would have paid the most. And we never knew because they never went through the house. Now, is that legal? No. The real estate commission says you can't do that. You think people do it anyway?
Absolutely.
They do. Let's not let that happen to you. So part of that is setting up that I'm getting my full commission, right? Because here's what they don't know. They don't know that if I took a less commission for any reason, I still wouldn't cheat the other agent. I wouldn't personally. I don't do it. I never move my commission to the other agent. First of all, I think it's a matter of ethics that since I work for the seller, this is damaging to the seller, and I don't do those things. But they don't have to know that I don't do that. That's my personal ethics. That if somebody's dumb enough to take a lower commission, that I'm the one that gets punished, not anybody else, right? So I'm never taking it out on the other agent. But the seller doesn't know that. So if he thinks that if you lower me, I lower them. And if I lower them, how many of them won't show the house? And did I cost you money or make you money? My concern is I've just cost you money. It's unfair of me to do that to you. Then the last one was, I will pay your transaction fee myself. Now, for me, the transaction fee, for many years, the transaction fee was just like the junk fees that lenders charge, that it's just a fee. It's a fee I made up. And so when I decide it's a fee that goes to me, so when I make up a fee that goes to me, paying it isn't all that difficult. Now, we have a fee at Titan when we close. So we can either pay that or charge it to them. And so in order to get this listing, I'm either going to pay the fee, or, which I was going to do anyway, or maybe I'll pay half the fee. Whatever it is, I'm showing them that, you know, I'm doing more for you. I'm going to pay the fee, or I will split the fee with you. So depending on what the fee is, I'll do whatever it is that I think I want to do in here.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
So regarding the Titan One fee, do you have to keep it the same for every seller or buyer? Or yeah.
For every seller, I would keep it the same. I would come up, Deb, with a fee. So maybe the fee is $500. I call that the transaction fee. And maybe my actual fee is $300. Fine, then $200 is mine. But no, I would do it on every listing because I don't want any fair housing
Right. Okay.
possibilities that for some people I do this and for other people I do that.
Gotcha.
So I make up what the fee is. And for me, the fee is always $500. So
And more specifically, because all fees are constantly negotiable, I always have mine written into the contract no matter what, even when I know I'm going to waive it, and I'll mark it off on the spot as if it was like, I did charge it, but we negotiated it. So if I ever had to go back to prove it, nope, it was here. They negotiated that off.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, you know, I did this as a favor to you.
Right.
I paid it. Just pick a number. I don't care what your number is, pick it, and then it goes to everybody. And I don't care if the everybody is your sister. It's still going to go on there. And like David said, then you're just going to waive it. So that one. So when I get done going through all of those, I'm going to say, I think you can see with my marketing, we could get a house sold. Don't you agree? So you can move to Florida, you can move to Parker, you can move to wherever it was they wanted to move to. Then now we're going to have to discuss price, right? Do you see how far into this presentation I am before we've ever discussed price? Because I know that one they don't want. And those of you that have been in Power Series have seen this before. When I sell a house, there's 3 prices. Let me explain what I mean. The first price is the investor price, and that's what a house would sell for at about 70% of fair market value. Are you willing to sell the house at 70% of fair market value? What happens if they say yes? shut up and buy it.
Right.
Write the contract. But when they say no, and they will, you're going to say, you know what, I wouldn't even let you if you did say yes. But the second price is up at the top here, the market price. And that's what a house ought to sell for in the fair market time. So that one's called the market price. But there's one more price. Can I tell you what the one more price is? The one more price, and then I write in YLP, your list price. And here's what I want you guys to know. You can have any price you want, so long as you give me one thing. Can I tell you what the one thing is? And then in the center of this triangle, I write time. And it's true, isn't it? If you give me enough time, I can sell it at any price you want. Now, the time might be 6 years. Do you want to be on the market 6 years? Most of us don't. But if they give me a number that is a 6-year price, then I'm probably going to say, you know, I think we probably can get your price. The thing that I'm struggling with is that we've got a listing here for 6 months, and this price will probably take us about 3 years. So shall we redo the listing for the 3 years, or do you think we should reevaluate the price? What do you think we ought to do? What do you think we ought to do? Right? Because see, I do no fight listings, no fight. You can't fight with me, cannot fight with me. If you want to be on the market for 2 years till you get your price, okay with me. I could do it for 2 years. Now, I may turn people down, right? So it might be that that they're so ridiculous that I say, you know, my concern is this looks like about a 5-year price, and I'm not sure that would be fair of me to do that to you, because I think it's going to be another expired listing and you're going to feel pretty disappointed. And I don't want you to miss the house in Parker because we put the wrong number here. So then we're going to take a look at numbers and do a reduction to the ridiculous. So for every $1,000 at 6%, it changes your life by $6. So for that amount of money, whatever I've calculated, what would you do? Would you move or would you just stay here? So let's say that I want to be $20,000 overpriced. Then look at what that would change the monthly payment. So for that amount of money, what would you do? Would you move or would you just stay here? Would you go get that acreage in Parker and have the 4 bedrooms and the new updated kitchen? Or would you just stay here? Anyway, that's in objection handling, and it is at 10:59. So everyone must be very relieved that we're on time. Any questions? Any questions, any statements, any rude remarks? Don't do it. Hurts my feelings. Haley.
I've used that. It works.
It is good, isn't it? Yeah. See, that's what I love about Power Series and Haley. Haley uses what she's told. And then what I love is when I do Power Series and people come back and they go, hey, that thing worked. It's like, I know, that's why I taught it. And thank you for using it. And it does show, doesn't it? And it puts people into the, you know, you pick. And do you see why I don't have problems with listings? It's no fight. And like Haley talks about, you do this and there's no argument. I'm not telling you you can't get $200,000 more for your house than your house is worth. You can. You just have to give me a few more years. And who sits there and goes, yeah, well, we don't really mind 10 years on the market. That won't be bad. Bob, we can do that, can't we? Right? It's like, can't fight with me. I didn't say you couldn't do it.
Right.
You can't do it in the next 6 months, but I'm not fighting with you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you for thanking me, Haley. I appreciate that. All right, anybody got anything?
I think this was
Bobby.
fantastic.
Hi, Darla. Nice to see
Thank you
you.
very much.
Nice to not see you, but I would. Bye, Sarah. Bye, Mary. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye all.
Bye.
Go get some free listings.